Imagine, and just because of the way that you're seating, there's more room to your right. Imagine that you are holding out your heart and the is there, an imaginary. And now what you're doing with is like this. And that seems to be a message from your head or from your heart. Am I being in integrity with myself or not? Now I'm being in integrity with myself. Now I'm accommodating. Now I'm accommodating. Oops, now I'm accommodating too much.
I don't know why, I cannot explain, but I really feel now, at this moment, my state is more like this.
Yep.
And at the same time, I'm not just this, but I feel also the space and the image of the tree also come to my mind in connection with last time when you give me the example from poetry about entry point, and the first sentence something like there's a tree.
Yes.
And suddenly just now I remember the tree again and this, and then the roots and also the branches going out, and then I see also the space.
And then turning to the session with Larry, I thought, you know I'm a fan of your work. And this idea of beginning with trust and how that idea of trust disappeared. In my view of the session, trust became ambivalence, or trust was one side of ambivalence. So there was, you talk about, well, when you trust somebody, you run the risk of being hurt. And so I think you're developing the theme of ambivalence, and then you're bouncing between his heart and his head, so his emotion and his thought process, sort of jumping ahead, that movement to vulnerability. So here's the dilemma. We've got ambivalence, we've got head, we've got heart, we've got trust, we've got hurt. How do you solve the dilemma? Well, when you allow yourself to be vulnerable, when you communicate that vulnerability, you yourself discover your vulnerability and gets to hear, I don't need you, I don't want you to do anything. I simply want to be able to share my self-experience with you so that I can achieve that sense of integrity with myself. And there are so many aspects of the communication that are verbal, nonverbal, paraverbal. And so just to comment on a few of those, your postures with the hands, how are you in relationship to and Larry winds up with this, and clearly there's a space, he's not here. And so you, by virtue of doing it yourself and then inviting him, so we're creating an experiential moment, Larry will figure out what it means for him to be in relation. Here's what he arrives at.
From Ron, he asked, in the intuitive leap, going to conceptual play, holding the heart, and childlike talk to the heart. That made a big shift. What made you go there that way?
I really don't know. Great question. That was something that I picked up on, and I can't recall perfectly what nuance I picked up on at that moment, but it's like amplifying a deviation. So whatever the deviation is, if it's anxiety or if it's vulnerability or if it's love, how can we amplify? And that is a poetic concern, like to take something simple and make it come alive. Hypnosis, to me, is the mother of experiential approaches to psychotherapy. You use hypnosis because you want somebody to experience something, but you could also use poetry or drama or gesture or tone and tempo of voice or posture or the prosody of voice, and all of those things that we learn when we're studying hypnosis can be applied hypnotically, but it would be hypnotherapy without trance. So for the people who want trance, I'm glad to create an induction that would make this into a formal trance. But Bill O'Hanlon had a catchphrase that has some heuristic value, that if the problem is something that is happening consciously, talk about it. If the problem is something that's happening unconsciously, use hypnosis, formal hypnosis.